The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Okay, if only because we don't have a fancy intro for this, allow me to do it for you guys. Wrestling to the Max presents WrestleMania Preview. And now, your host, Harry Broadhurst.
Yay!
Good evening, afternoon, whenever you happen to be listening, everybody. I am your host of this WrestleMania preview here from Wrestling to the Max on the W2M Network. I am Harry Broadhurst, as previously mentioned. Joining me, as per usual, the Joker to my Batman, Brandon Biskobing.
Sorry, I can't do a good Joker laugh.
And Monday Night Raw co-host, once it officially fully gets relaunched once again, Cedric Colon. Good evening, Cedric.
Good evening to all.
Blame the damn weather down here for getting me damn bronchitis.
You know, it's funny you mentioned bronchitis because people don't believe this, and it sucked when it happened, but the best weight loss plan I ever had was bronchitis.
The best weight loss plan I ever had was my appendix rupturing.
When I got bronchitis a couple of years back, I lost like 40 pounds because I was sick with it for like a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
The best weight loss program I've had is being poor.
Womp, womp, womp.
I tried.
Sad. That's sad. Hopefully not anymore. I've mentioned this to you in the chat before. This is the first time we've done a show together. However, Cedric, thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
And with that being said, are you guys ready to get into the WrestleMania preview?
Let's do it.
Sir.
I mean, there's only 16 matches. We might as well, right?
Might as well get this show on the road. I mean, we've got 16 matches to go. And not as many as they were originally predicting. A lot of people were thinking they were going to be 17.
Well, technically, the only reason there aren't 17 is because they pulled the plug on that Oscar Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville triple threat for the SmackDown Women's title.
Very true.
Because everybody had that penciled in as the SD title match, and then they decided to give Charlotte the women's title on SmackDown 2 weeks before the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And turn it into winner take all for the women's titles. We'll talk about that match towards the end because obviously as the main event of WrestleMania, it deserves to go on later on in the show.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the pre-show matches first, shall we?
Let's do it.
Once again, there are 3 matches on the pre-show, although I'm probable to believe that the match that was just added today will be the 4th match on the pre-show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So let's go ahead and talk pre-show. With our opening contest for the pre-show, it is 205 Live's Cruiserweight Championship as the premier athlete, Tony Nese, challenges the unstoppable Buddy Murphy. Murphy has been champion since he defeated Cedric Alexander at the Super Showdown. Tony Nese just recently won the Cruiserweight #1 Contenders Tournament on 205 Live, pinning, appropriately enough, Cedric Alexander in the final. So a little bit of symmetry there between the way that we got to this contest.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Nese has a home field advantage. WrestleMania is at MetLife Stadium in New York, New Jersey. Technically, it's Jersey. Most people in that area don't claim New Jersey. However, it is still New Jersey. But Tony Nese is from upstate New York, so he's like right on the border of where he's from anyway. As a matter of fact, Raw, SmackDown, and 205 Live will emanate from his home state when they go to the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York.
Yep.
Cedric, I will ask you first. The Cruiserweight title is on the line as Tony Nese challenges Buddy Murphy. Who you got?
I got Buddy Murphy. I think he's been a spectacular champion. He has the build. He has the moves. He has the agility. He's a great 12-5er. Even though he doesn't really look like he weighs 12.5, but definitely he moves and his wrestling skills and maneuvers are just a combination of speed and power, and I'll give it up to him.
Call fake weight.
Technically speaking, he has legitimately weighed in at 203 pounds.
Really?
It might be It might be a UFC situation where he's like cutting weight right before the weigh-ins and then bulking back up afterwards, which is entirely possible.
Yeah.
We've seen it in UFC all the time. Brandon, who do you got?
I think this is the time to finally give Tony the title. Yes, I know home field advantage. It's mostly a disadvantage in WWE, but I think they'll give it to Tony here. But he's had a long title reign at this point. Granted, I said this a couple of years ago with the cruiserweight title at Mania, but I think they'll pull the trigger on Tony Nese finally getting a title shot or a title run.
I cast the deciding vote here, and I too am on the side of the premier athlete, Tony Nese. I believe that you've done pretty much everything you can do with Buddy as champion right now, short of bringing in a legend to 205 Live, and that actually has been rumored. I'll talk about that in a quick second here after I discuss my prediction for this match, though. But Tony Nese, in my opinion, ever since he's kind of started to step out of the shadow of Buddy Murphy on 205 Live, has been more or less carrying the show, and the fans have been getting more and more behind the premier athlete. I don't think that Tony Nese needs to hold this title for a long time, because I don't think that Nese is going to be anything more than a transitional champion to get the belt onto somebody like a Drew Gulak, who should have been cruiserweight champion months ago. But Nese is somebody, especially in that New York time frame and in that New York timeline up there inside of the city, would be a wise idea to put the belt on him as well to get the fans off to a happy start by having the hometown boy make good. Now, I mentioned that the only way that I could see them keeping the title on Buddy Murphy is if they bring a legend in. Cedric, there is rumors going around that the possible original planned opponent for Buddy Murphy was actually going to be Rey Mysterio Jr. Would you have had any interest in that contest?
Oh man, not really. I'll be honest. I love me Rey Mysterio. I grew up watching him back in the day when he was healthier, younger, and much more agile, and just surprising me with his out of the blue moves that he came up with. I still remember when Kurt Angle once flipped him over and he landed standing on the third turnbuckle. That was amazing. But at this point in this stage, I just don't see it. I don't think this new Ray is even 205 unless I'm mistaken. He seems to have bulked up pretty good as well. So, uh, a match for the title between them two, me personally, I don't see it. I think it will be Murphy more carrying it than actually Ray.
That would be weird to me, since I mean, I'm assuming that if they did go that plan, that he wouldn't have been in the U.S. title picture. But it would be weird now at this point for him to be working, SmackDown and Raw so much, and then suddenly drop down to 205.
Well, the talk is that they were going to use it to possibly get more eyes on 205 Live with the fact that it's network exclusive.
Yeah.
I personally would be okay with it as long as you don't put the belt on Mysterio. And
Yeah.
the reason I say that is similar to what Cedric had to say. I think at this advanced stage of Mysterio's career, he's not capable of working that 205 Live style anymore.
Oh, no.
That cruiserweight style anymore. He tends to do better in shorter television matches against other experienced opponents with which he can kind of not bear as much of the burden as he would have to in a cruiserweight exchange. All right. The other match that was just recently added to the WrestleMania card and will probably end up on the pre-show as well is the Raw Tag Team titles, as the Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, defend against Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. Cedric?
Listen, if the rumors are true, and we know that the wrestling community is full of many rumors, if the Revival is at any short term about to leave WWE to go to the other company that nobody can stop talking about, even though it's just a T-shirt at this moment, I would say the Revival will probably lose. But for me personally, I could see the storyline of having finally this poor guy break his losing streak at WrestleMania, just the way we once saw Zack Ryder win the Intercontinental title at a WrestleMania to give him his moment, just to see him lose the next Monday Night Raw. But the way the Revival's been treated, unless there's backstage reasons why not, they should hold on to the titles. That will make more sense. I know the title have really lost a lot of value because of prior decisions that WWE has taken, but if they want to get it right, to me, the Revival should have their moment and keep the titles.
That's what they should do, but
Exactly.
Yeah. Do we know exactly when the Revival's contracts are up?
The rumors that have made the rounds that I've seen from the various sites that I read say that they recently signed an extension, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Same with the Usos as well. I don't know
Yeah,
if you guys saw that as well.
I saw
making around.
I saw the Usos one. I did not see the Revival. In terms of this, I agree with Cedric that the Revival should hold the titles, should retain. But like you said, we saw this before with Zack Ryder. WWE loves to use WrestleMania to give, like, these feel-good moments. I have a feeling that Zack and Kurt are going to win this. And then immediately drop it to, whoever come Monday. Maybe back to the Revival, or, if Alistair and Ricochet don't win the SmackDown tag titles, drop it to them or something. But I have a feeling that Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder will get the titles.
Brandon, out of curiosity, do you have any honey cough drops over there?
I have cough drops, not honey ones.
Okay, you might want to pop one, man. You're getting really scratchy.
I know.
Might help your voice a little bit. All right, bud. Got your cough drop, Brandon?
Yep.
Okay, we have to tie it all together.
Yes.
Those who don't know, a little peek behind the curtain, we had to press the pause button so that way Brandon wasn't croaking all over the episode. All right, let's get back to it here. Once again, I cast the tie-breaking vote here for the Raw Tag Team title match, and in this instance, I side with Cedric. I picked the Revival. And the reason I picked the Revival is because, yes, you mentioned that WrestleMania, Brandon, you mentioned that WrestleMania is all about creating moments. And while I agree with that, one of the other things that they really like to do is they like to make it more about the moments that they can create on the Raw after WrestleMania. The Revival win at WrestleMania, get overconfident and allow a rematch to Hawkins and Ryder on Monday Night Raw, and a bigger audience on Raw see Hawkins and Ryder win the tag team titles the very next night.
I could see that happening too.
It is now time for the two battle royals. We'll start with the women's battle royal, the not moolah.
The don't call it the moolah?
Yes. Don't show me the moolah.
The big uterus title?
Man, it really does look like one, doesn't it?
Yes, it
Yikes.
does. Whoever designed that, like, they had to be laughing their ass off.
Whoever designed that should be shot.
Yes.
And then if they survive, shot again. Cedric, women's battle royal, who you got?
Oh man, given the previous results and how it doesn't do anything to move anyone's career, I really don't have a pick, to be honest.
We'll just pick one at random then.
Yeah.
I mean,
Throw me a name.
The ones that are listed that I can see here on the Wikipedia page are Dana, Mickey, Ruby, Liv, Sarah, Asuka, Carmella, Naomi, Lana, Mandy, Sonia, Zelina, Nikki Cross.
I will give it to Nikki. They need to give this young lady a push, because the way she was being used in NXT tied to Sanity, and even as an individual female wrestler, I think she was being used very, very well, and it's time to give her that push on the main roster and actually give value to these battle royales winners.
Well, I had an idea for the battle royals, and I'll talk about that once everybody makes their prediction. Brandon, who you got?
I know you want me to give one, but like I'm torn between two. I feel like either what?
Well, unfortunately, you're only allowed one.
I know. I'll go with Sonya Deville. I think this will be the way that since it seemed like they were building towards Sonya and Mandy breaking up during that number one contenders match, I think they'll use the women's battle royal as the opportunity to finally do that breakup by having Sonya eliminate Mandy as like the last elimination or something close to it.
I'm going to go with Asuka as a sorry we took your title off of you 12 days before.
That was my other thought. Yeah.
The only thing that concerns me about this is the segment that happens on the Go Home SmackDown. I won't get into too many details because, as we discussed before we went on air, Cedric hasn't seen it yet, and I don't want to give away too much here. But that kind of worries me as far as the Asuka pick.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to stand by it as, yeah, sorry for screwing you around for the last 12 months. Sorry for having you lose your undefeated streak when you really didn't need to last year. Sorry for having that same person take the title off of you 12 years before this year's pay-per-view by submission, no less, so you got to tap again. This is kind of a make good for Asuka, in my opinion.
I can see that.
Let's move over to the men's battle royal because the idea that I had applies to both men's and women's, so I will save it for once we're done with the conversation on this match. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, or as we've affectionately come to call it, the Armbar, the Andre Rousimov Memorial Battle Royal, will be probably the main event of the pre-show since the women are main eventing the main card. Cedric, who do you got in the Armbar?
I'm hoping Braun Strowman wins it and, by God, finally gets some sort of push towards the main event of anything, because this guy went from being the true monster to now being like a
joke?
cuddly monster. I don't know. So hopefully he wins after he takes out two SNL hosts that really shouldn't even be there.
I mean, I actually like Michael Shea and Colin Yost on SNL. I think their weekend update stuff is actually pretty good. Brandon, who do you got?
Yeah, I think I have to agree with Cedric here. I think the whole build to this started with Braun. It's going to be all about Braun. Yeah, he's going to win it. I have a feeling there's going to be some weird random comedy thing that happens during this match, though.
I have a very bold prediction and a more reasonable prediction. I'm going to go with my more reasonable prediction as my official pick on this show, and that is EC3 to finally give him something to hang his hat on the main roster. My much more bold prediction is Rob Gronkowski.
I could see that.
Oh.
Because of Gronkowski retiring from the NFL, the rumor is that he might be signing a part-time deal with the WWE. What better way than for him to make his debut with the WWE than to come back at the very match he interfered in 3 years ago at WrestleMania 32 on the pre-show when Mojo Rawley won.
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, 33. I apologize. 30.
Hopefully this time they'll let the security guards know that he is part of the act. Hopefully he doesn't get tackled by the same lady.
I mean, that lady was really trying to do her job, though. You got to give her credit.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
It was real to her, damn it. Okay, so I teased this a little bit before we did the predictions. I will mention this to you guys now. I think that the Andre and the Women's Battle Royal should only be for mid-carders. And the reason I say that is because I think that the winner of each of these battle royals should get an automatic title shot at a pay-per-view down the road, but at least a couple of months later, so that way you have time to build up the winner of the battle royal and make them seem like a credible and legitimate threat. Similar to what they tried to do with Cesaro when he first won the Battle Royal, because Cesaro was given Paul Heyman as a mouthpiece, was aligned with Heyman back when Heyman only was working with Lesnar at the time. This is before Heyman got aligned with Punk. And they actually tried to use it to mean something, breaking Cesaro away from Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger and giving him Paul Heyman as his mouthpiece. Since then, the Battle Royal has been won by The Big Show, who didn't need it. It was more of a Lifetime Achievement Award. Mojo Rawley did nothing with it. Woken Matt Hardy, who did even less with it other than form a tag team with Bray Wyatt. Yes, Brandon?
The Big Show one was mostly just because, he's pretty much, and even his character in the beginning, in WCW, he was the new Andre.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with that, but at the same time, it was more of a Lifetime Achievement Award than anything he actually needed.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Cedric, buy or sell that they should use the Battle Royal to give a future title shot in order to make these matches mean something.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. It's like for I'm gonna give an example. NJPW, when they have their Battle Royal, it's almost like it's a comedy thing, but at the same time it's almost to honor the legends. And so even if nothing comes out of it, you understand the importance of it. You understand the value that it brings and why they're doing it. In WWE, they have a bad habit of doing these kind of things, and then now they turn into a tradition, but they don't give it a meaning. And I think that to give this match value, they have to award the winner not just, hey, you won, but give them something other than a trophy they carry around. Actually make it about, I can challenge the next day, or my first televised show back on TV. Definitely, that it will give it that meaning. It will give it that oomph. Like, hey, I really want to watch this. I have a reason why to turn this on the pre-show and watch it, because whoever wins has a title shot of their choosing.
Well, that was the original idea that I had behind it, was that the winner of the Andre Memorial Battle Royal got the title shot the next night on Monday Night Raw, the Raw after Mania, just because that way you would have a crowd that would be hot for that person, because a lot of the people that attend the Raw after Mania are the same people that were at Mania. Most people make a weekend out of it. So they would have the familiarity there. Plus, traditionally, it's been gimmicks and people that the WWE Universe has been behind that have won the Battle Royal. Cesaro, Mojo to an extent, Woken Matt Hardy to an extent. These are people that the WWE Universe would find themselves behind if they were challenging for a title.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Even if it's on SmackDown itself.
Either way, I mean, if it's a Raw competitor, it could be on Raw. If it's a SmackDown competitor, it could be on SmackDown. Either way.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
All right, let's move to the main card, gentlemen. Do you guys want to do Raw or SmackDown first? Take your pick.
Let's do Raw first.
Yep.
Well, I see how it is. The two Raw guys are sticking together. Okay. All right. No holds barred as Triple H faces Batista. Triple H's career is also on the line. Cedric?
Okay, so I'm going to stick to my logic first, and I'll have you guys discuss it among yourselves if you agree or not. Me personally, I wouldn't mind seeing Batista win. I think that he has made a point of, the only guy you haven't beat is me. And for him to lose to Triple H really does not push any storyline. What if he wins, at least you can close a chapter saying, you know what, they finally got a streak right that ended right, because God knows that they're not like when Undertaker lost his streak, and I definitely did not like when Sting lost to Triple H, because it did not advance anything on Triple H's agenda. I feel the same way with this match. If Triple H wins, it really doesn't push any narrative other than, here we go, another win for the COO. But if Batista wins, for me, it kind of like, it closes that chapter to a certain degree, gives Triple H's farewell, and then Batista can do whatever he wants afterwards. Guardians of the Galaxy 10, if he chooses. But I would like to see Batista win. That's just my personal opinion.
Brandon?
I mean, I'd be fine with either one winning, but I'm going. I agree with your logic, Cedric, but I'm going in the exact opposite direction for the same reasons. I think this is the way. I think we all know that this is probably Batista's last hurrah. He'll probably go into the Hall of Fame next year. This is his way of going out, and it's going to be the way of finally having Triple H beat Batista so that Triple H can continue wrestling, because there's no way that Triple H is going to be done at this point. He's going to continue wrestling for another 3 or 4 years at least on a part-time level. So yeah, Triple H definitely winning here.
Brandon and I were having a conversation about this match, and we both came to the conclusion that when Triple H goes out on his field, he's going to go out to one of his NXT kids in order to get the MO up.
Mm-hmm.
It will not be a mostly retired Batista that he goes out on his field for. The sole existence for this match is for the Triple H to get that win over Batista that he's never had before.
I can barely hear you, Harry.
Mic check.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, sorry. I think I might have been laying on my microphone. My bad. All right, try this again. The idea that I had is that Triple H isn't going to go out on his shield to Batista. He's going to go out on his shield to one of his NXT kids that he wants to give a proper introduction to the main roster.
Yep.
The sole existence for this match is so that Triple H can pick up the win over Batista that he never got back in 2005 when Batista beat Triple H at WrestleMania, Backlash, and then inside of Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that the idea that Batista wanted Triple H to put his in-ring career on the line here, it makes sense, but it doesn't, because in my opinion, it takes away from the drama of the match. Now, if this were just a straight-up one-on-one contest, yeah, I could see the point of having Batista win. But with Triple H's career on the line, it takes away any and all drama of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree with that entirely.
Triple H wouldn't be the first to lose a retirement match and then, for whatever reason, come back.
True.
I would prefer that they don't. I mean,
Yeah.
I've always been a firm believer that stipulations need to be upheld in order to mean anything in the world of professional wrestling.
Agreed.
It's more of a me thing than a WWE creative thing.
WWE creative doesn't like what we like.
Speaking of people leaving after matches, it is Kurt Angle's farewell. And it pains me to say this, it's probably for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
As Kurt Angle faces Baron Corbin at WrestleMania 35. Yeah, let that sink in, everybody. They chose Baron. Okay, I want to state for the record that I actually don't dislike Corbin.
Neither do I.
I was a fan of his run in NXT.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there is an opportunity for a guy like Corbin to continue to improve on the main roster. But this is Kurt freaking Angle. And a Baron Corbin that dresses like he still works at Applebee's should not be Kurt Angle's last opponent. That being said, Cedric, does this match happen? If it does, who wins? If it doesn't, what does happen?
If it does happen, it has to be Kurt winning. That's the true farewell that a legend of the sport should have. And we know how many demons this man has battled to come back to WWE and have the last hurrah, like many others have done, like the Dudley Boys, for example. But if it doesn't happen, regardless of who wrestles against him, I think he should win, unless they put some up and coming and Kurt decides, you know what, even on my last match, I'm going to use this to push this up and comer to a whole new level. But if it happens against Baron Corbin, definitely he should be the one to win. If it happens against another legend, I still believe that it should be Kurt winning, even though it would not affect the opponent's push or legacy or whatever they have in store for them. But it would be in my opinion, the right way to say farewell to Kurt Angle.
Brandon, same series of questions. Does this Mitch? Why do I keep saying Mitch? I'm apparently trying to bring back Nick Mitchell from the Spirit Squad. Does this match happen? If it does, who wins? If it doesn't, what happens?
What I would like to see happen is to have Cena interrupt, let them have a match, whoever wins, wins, and then maybe have Baron attack both of them post-match to give him a push. What I think will probably happen is Baron will probably get squashed, and then Cena comes out, and we get a match between Cena and Angle, probably with Cena winning.
I would be okay with the Cena Angle match under one condition. If Cena announces that the reason he wants to face Kurt Angle in his last match is because of ruthless aggression.
Oh, of course.
Which would be a nice callback to Cena's debut on SmackDown back in 2002. I do think that Angle and Corbin is going to happen. And much the same way Brandon just said there, I think Angle taps Corbin inside of 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
This is not going to be a long match. Corbin is not somebody that can carry Kurt in the position in the kind of condition that Kurt is in to a watchable, lengthy match. I think this is one of those ones where you get in, you get your stuff in, and you get out. This is a GMSI match for Kurt Angle. You hit the highlights, and then you get out. Because based on the Kurt Angle that we've seen on Raw and SmackDown the last couple of weeks, and I say this as somebody who is a huge fan of Kurt Angle, he's clearly lost several steps from when we last saw him. The tag team matches were able to hide it. In singles matches, it's blatantly obvious that Kurt's body has betrayed him along with Father Time. We move on to the Intercontinental title match as Bobby Lashley with Lio Rush defends against the Demon, Finn Balor. Cedric?
This one's, I hate to say this, a no-brainer. The Demon. If they're going to bring him back after the fans were calling for it, after so many wrestling experts were calling for it, it's not going to be to lose.
Yeah,
Brandon?
They've got to keep the Demon strong, especially if they're only going to bring him out for, special occasions. They've got to make it so that the Demon never loses. I still wish they would do some sort of storyline with Balor where, he's basically a Jekyll and Hyde type thing. But yeah, you've got to keep the Demon strong, so Balor wins here, hands down.
Technically speaking, the Demon has lost before.
Well, yes, but not on the main roster.
That is correct, yes. The Demon's loss, if I'm not mistaken, his sole loss was at NXT TakeOver where he was beaten by Samoa Joe.
Yep.
I'm also picking Balor here, if only because I don't think that there's really anything you can do with Bobby Lashley as the Intercontinental Champion.
Not any more than you've already done.
And while Balor, I don't think that there's a whole lot you can do with Balor as the Intercontinental Champion either. I think that Balor is somebody that is more apt to carrying what has always been considered to be the workhorse title of the company, of the guy putting on the best matches on a night in, night out basis. I'm enjoying Lashley more since he was paired with Lio Rush.
Yes.
However, Lashley has never been known for his ability to have marquee matches on a night in and night out basis. Balor is somebody who's had that show stealer on a constant every night, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, whatever show that he's been on, he's had arguably one of, if not the best match on the show. And that's what the Intercontinental title deserves. So I'm also picking Balor here. This is a unanimous decision. We're all picking Finn Balor here.
Yep.
Let's move on to the personal rivalry on Monday Night Raw here, as this is the one where there is nothing on the line. There is no stipulation, but it's definitely gotten personal between the two participants. As Roman Reigns makes his in-ring singles return after a match that was supposed to happen on Raw got canceled due to an attack by his opponent, Drew McIntyre. Cedric?
This one's a tough one for me because I've learned to appreciate and respect this Drew McIntyre. He has the build, he has the look, I think even has the mic skills for it, and I really wish that the push were for him. But I think that they're gonna go with the feel good and just hopefully, like Brandon and I had talked before, at a much slower pace. But I think they're gonna give this win to Roman. But if it was up to me, I definitely would like to see Drew win because I think he has that total package as a heel to be pushed forward. But I really think it's gonna be Roman in a feel good comeback kind of story.
Now I'm having visions of Drew McIntyre being repackaged as Lex Luger. Yee. Brandon, who you got?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Cedric here. In an ideal world, in the smart world, Drew McIntyre gets the win here, and Roman has to, rethink a lot and has to really rebuild himself back to where he was. But this is Vince McMahon. He's gonna make the same mistakes that he did last time, and completely burn away all this goodwill that has naturally and organically been created towards Roman. He's just gonna burn it into dust, and we're gonna be back to square one by SummerSlam.
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here. I'm actually going to say that the idea of a Roman that has obviously missed a step is too intriguing of a proposal for creative to not try to explore. I think that McIntyre gets a hard-fought win here in about 12 to 15 minutes. And I think that the focus of the camera crew as they fade away from this match is Roman sitting in the middle of the ring, wondering, does he still have what it takes to be a WWE superstar after first his body betrayed him physically, and now his body is betraying him mentally as well.
I really, really hope you're right, but you have way too much faith in WWE.
It's a much better story to be told with a loss here for Roman.
Agreed.
No, definitely.
Everyone
yeah,
agrees
definitely.
with that, but this is the Vince McMahon that pushed him to the moon in spite of everyone telling him no, no, no.
They should make Vince go to Roman rehab. They try to make him go to rehab. He say no. Sorry. I'm back. I'm good. All right. I think that actually wraps us up for Raw exclusive matches.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does, because the tag team title match has both.
You're missing the biggest match of them all.
Oh no, I'm not. You're right. I'm sorry. I intentionally saved that for last too. Let's actually save that for the end of the show. Since it's a heavyweight title match, shall we?
Okay, fair enough.
We'll save the heavyweight titles, the interbrand titles, and obviously the triple threat main event announced for the last matches, shall we?
Fair enough.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's move over to the blue brand here. Let's go to SmackDown, and the very first match to discuss is Shane McMahon and The Miz. I have a very bold prediction for the finish of this match, so I'll let you guys go ahead and give your thoughts first. I want to know what your guys' thoughts on my idea for the finish is. That being said, Cedric, once again, I ask you, Shane McMahon and The Miz, falls count anywhere. What do you got?
I got The Miz winning. I remember when I started seeing The Miz when he started his wrestling career. I did not stand the guy. His movesets, nothing. I just did not like this guy at all. But ever since that passionate post-match, not post-match, post-show interview with Daniel Bryan, I've just enjoyed this Miz, his passion, his pretty much everything that he does, and his mic skills. And I definitely like the way the build up to this match has come out of has developed, and I really really hope that the Miz wins, and that's my pick.
Brandon?
Yeah, they still have to do some work for me. I'm starting to grow on Miz slightly, but they still have to do a lot of work to basically redeem themselves from what is it, 11 years now of them basically telling us that Miz doesn't give two craps about wrestling. So, yeah, Miz is gonna win this match. I'm hoping that it's, it is a Falls Count Anywhere match, so I'm hoping that it happens in some wacky area of MetLife Stadium. Um, but yeah, Miz is gonna win this one. And then we'll see where it goes from there. Harry?
I think he's just in shock with our prediction.
No, I muted my microphone because I had to stand up because my glasses decided to snap on me, so I'm fixing them real quick.
Oh,
but
lovely.
In regards to your guys' predictions here, I'm going to pick Miz as well, but here's my bold prediction here. You know how it was Miz's attempt at risk that cost them the tag team title match at Fastlane and then led to Shane turning on them?
Mm-hmm.
Shane turning on Miz and his father?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Miz taking a risk at WrestleMania, by which I mean he steals Shane McMahon's leap of faith elbow drop through the announce table for the pinfall in the Falls Count Anywhere match at ringside in front of his dad.
I could see that. And that would be a way to get some of the fans who may not be entirely on Miz's side completely squarely behind him. Have him do something even crazier. Have him go up onto whatever the stage setup is gonna be. Have a weight for him to go up even higher.
Yeah, let him jump from the WrestleMania sign.
Exactly.
I think it's going to depend on Miz's comfort level because of the fact that he's never done anything like this. So that's why I'm saying you keep it kind of simplistic by having him go up onto the top rope and go out to the floor through the announce table.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can very easily gimmick an announce table for that kind of a fall.
Oh yeah.
That is still an amazing move, though, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta give it a Shane. That is still, in my opinion, an amazing move.
Oh, one of my dream matches, not for the technical quality of it or anything, but just for the craziness of it, a Mick Foley versus Jeff Hardy versus Shane McMahon match.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Mick and Jeff have faced off before.
Mm-hmm.
But this would have been a much younger Jeff Hardy.
Well, yes, of course.
But all right, let's move on to the United States title over on SmackDown, and this match is apparently in jeopardy. If you guys watched the Baron Corbin Rey Mysterio match on Monday Night Raw this past week, you'll notice that when Mysterio was lifted up for a back suplex by Corbin and flipped out and landed on his feet, he landed with a lot of weight on his left ankle and severely sprained it. The talk is that Mysterio is hoping to be good to go for Mania, but may not be. And the rumors that I'm hearing say that this injury is completely 100% legitimate as well. It is not a worked injury, which sucks for Ray, but one of those situations where, unfortunately, it's not ballet. Accidents happen.
Mm-hmm.
So let's ask two-part question here. Assuming Ray Joe happens, who do you have? If Ray versus Joe does not happen, who would you like to see take Ray's place in the match? Cedric?
Ooh, that's a difficult one. Unfortunately, I must say that it is Rey Mysterio that we're talking about. So him getting injured is just part of Rey lately. If they do fight, I think Samoa should retain. I'm a big Samoa Joe fan. I was very disappointed when he fought against Lesnar and did not beat him for the title. I know lots of fans have been waiting for the moment that he finally gets a world title shot and actually wins. But if this match does not happen because Ray is hurt, or if Ray cannot compete, if they want to find someone else, man, hopefully it'll be someone from NXT, someone that can definitely bring that spark. And I would not mind seeing either a Lee or wow, who else can bring that? It has to be someone
See,
that doesn't have a title.
I would
Well,
agree with you on the Mustafa Ali
yeah.
thing, except for the fact that he just faced Joe on the Go Home SmackDown and got choked out in like 2.5 minutes.
That's true. I forgot about that.
I have an idea. I have an idea as to who I would like to see it be, and it's somebody who could definitely play an underdog role in a match against Samoa Joe. Brandon, I'll let you give your thoughts first, and then I'll give you guys mine.
If this match does happen, I have a feeling even if the injury isn't as bad as they're saying, they're still going to be wary of it, I think. So if this match does happen, I feel like it'll be a pretty quick Joe squash. If it doesn't happen, I was gonna say Ali myself, but then you remind me of the fact that Joe choked him out within a few minutes on SmackDown. I don't know. I don't know who you could really put in there that would work. And this is, it's WrestleMania. It's not like it's another show.
Jinder Mahal. There you go.
No. Plus, isn't he on Raw?
They keep flipping wrestlers from one brand to the other. You never know.
True.
He is on Raw. I
What?
have an idea.
Okay.
You ready? Okay, first let me make the official prediction for the match itself. I think Ray does attempt to make a go out of it, and Joe beats him in like 5 minutes because Ray's going to be limited due to what he can and can't do based on the severity of his ankle injury. If Ray cannot go, what I would like to hear is, whoa, 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 let's go! Dun, 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 dun,
I could see that.
And Samoa Joe's new opponent is the returning Sami Zayn.
Either that or Bray.
Another person that I could very easily see getting put into that picture against Samoa Joe would be the, as of right now, not yet match included, Kevin Owens, who they seem to be trying to make a babyface now on the main roster. And Owens and Joe have a history since Joe beat Owens for the NXT title.
True.
So there are a couple of different ways you can spin it out of the injury to Rey Mysterio happening. I mean, it's unfortunate for Rey, but as Cedric kind of pointed out earlier, lately in Rey's career, it's kind of par for the course. That moves us over to the SmackDown Live Tag Team titles as the champions, the Usos, defend in a fatal four-way against Cesaro and Sheamus, The Bar, Rusev and Nakamura, the International Alliance, and Aleister Black and Ricochet, Team Creative Has Nothing For You, NXT people. Cedric?
I went from being one of the biggest haters of the Usos to enjoying their return to heelish kind of attitude, and I think they should continue to hold the titles. This Ricochet Aleister Black experiment, I enjoyed the first match that they had on Raw, but when they showed up on SmackDown as well and have continuously done so, and then challenged for both belts on both brands, I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's, if they were to win, I just don't see where they're going with this. So I think it makes more sense to keep it on the Usos.
Yeah, I mean, would I like to see Ricochet and Black become champs? Yes. I don't know. Like, I feel like it all depends upon what happens on Friday. What happens tomorrow. Because, like, and that's the thing. Where where are they? Are they going to be on SmackDown? Are they going to go back and forth between all three brands? You know, because they're also facing off against War Raiders at TakeOver. So if they don't win the titles at TakeOver, I could see them winning the titles at Mania. So
I would not want that to happen.
what?
I would not want that to happen, and the reason I say I would not want that to happen is because it would devalue the SmackDown Tag Team titles. That this team was not good enough to win the NXT Tag Team titles, but they're the best team on the blue brand on the main roster.
True.
Go ahead and give me your official prediction, Brandon.
I'll go with the Usos retaining.
Now that it's officially come out that the Usos have resigned, I don't think there's any question that they retain the titles here, and I think that either Rusev or Nakamura, most likely Nakamura, eats the fall. That being said, do I have any interest in Aleister Black and Ricochet in this match? No. Zero. None. And the reason I say that is because both of these guys are better off as singles competitors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it is completely asinine to me to think that you have two of the driving, carrying forces of the NXT brand called up to the main roster and then put together as a haphazard tag team because Tommaso Ciampa got injured. Therefore, DIY wasn't a possibility.
Mm-hmm. And don't even get me started on how I hate how they took away Black's personalized Chiron.
I know, right?
What?
He still has it on NXT, so that's nice.
Yeah, but not on the main roster.
Yeah, that what is it? The acrylic, the writing.
Yeah, it's the runes.
I know it's like an old Sanskrit script.
Yeah.
That they did his name in, and they still do it on NXT, but yeah, they don't really use it on the main roster much anymore.
They don't use it at all. They just put an NXT plate up.
That's true. You're right. I did notice that on SmackDown actually. All right, so let's move on here, and we stay once again on the blue brand. Excuse me, as the non-title, non-stipulated match here, similar to McIntyre and Reigns from Raw, is AJ Styles taking on Randy Orton. In my opinion, it's almost a de facto number one contenders match. Cedric?
So, if I read correctly, I think AJ extended with WWE. And
yes, AJ announced when he posted a picture of his new dog that he had signed a 2-year deal with the WWE.
And I've heard rumors of a possible Randy trying his luck on the quote-unquote free agency market. So if all that is true, it will make more sense to have AJ Styles win. Now, I don't take nothing away from Randy. I've mostly read negative stuff when people talk about Randy and his movesets and his charisma and just his character as a whole. And some people even bring personal things into it all, because you're so-and-so's kid and you have the bloodline. I really think Randy has become his own man, his own character. And I think he's one of the all-time greats when you look at this era. But I definitely, for sake of pushing a storyline, like you said, almost like a number one contenders match type storyline, I think it should go to AJ and kind of put that push how, don't look down on us indie guys and what we've done.
Yeah, I think this is definitely, the newer guys and the newer style coming into WWE against the, older guys. And yeah, AJ is going to win this one, I think.
I'm picking Randy Orton.
Wow.
And the reason I'm picking Randy Orton will be explained by a prediction that I make later in the show. And I
see where you're going with this.
And I will go into more explicit detail when we get there. That takes us to the heavyweight title matches, the intergender or the interbrand matches. And yeah, the final 4 matches on this card. I do believe we only have 4 left. Let's start with Monday Night Raw once again. Let's go to the heavyweight title match as Brock Lesnar defends the Universal Championship against Seth Rollins. Cedric?
It's Seth moments to shine. This whole Lesnar continuing to just show up every now and then and winning the big ones. It worked for a while. It kind of made sense, and then we all know what happened with Reigns and whatnot. But I really think it's Seth's moment to shine and carry this company because his reign, his first reign got cut short because of a injury that happened nobody was expecting. But this Seth Rollins, I think, is more prepared, has more fan support, and really, this is his moment to truly shine as the face of Monday Night Raw.
Brandon?
I'm so torn on this now after seeing the rumors about Lesnar moving forward. But they have shows before August, so I am going to stick with my original prediction that Brock Lesnar will retain. And there is one particular reason why I say Brock, and I will talk more about that later.
Sorry, microphone paused once again. Getting a drink. I'm going to agree with Brandon. I'm picking Brock Lesnar to retain because I feel like there are only going to be so many happy moments that you can put on the show.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, Seth Rollins finds himself on the outside looking in for those happy moments.
Mm-hmm. Because there's 2 that there is no way that they could get away with not doing. Seth you can get away with. The other 2 you could not.
All right, let's do the women's tag team titles here, and then we'll do the SmackDown title and then the main event. The women's tag team titles are on the line in a fatal 4-way as the team of Sasha Banks and Bayley, the Boss and Hug Connection, which may be the stupidest freaking tag team name in the company, take on, nope, I take that back because Nia and Tamina call themselves the Samoan Slaughterhouse. Take on the Divas of Doom, which actually does work with Natalya and Beth Phoenix, and the iconic
The most
Billie Kay
annoying tag team in the
Ward.
world.
No, I'm going to say that the most annoying tag team in the world, and especially in the women's division, is Nia and Tamina. Because I cannot describe the immensity of which that I do not care about either of them. This is a family-friendly show, and I'm going to keep it as such. So therefore, if you want to hear my actual thoughts on Nia and Tamina, listen to the Raw reaction where I can use much more descriptive verbiage.
Much more colorful language.
Yeah, that too. Cedric, who you got in the fatal 4-way for the women's tag team titles?
I have a question. Your mic was kind of breaking up a little bit. Did you say the Samoan Porterhouse?
No, I think that's what they eat. No, Samoan Slaughterhouse.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. I must have misheard you. On this match, I gotta be completely honest. It was so predictable that Bayley and Sasha were gonna win the titles that I really want to see them lose them. I don't know. Creative with these 2 ladies have done a very terrible job. They're friends. They're not friends. They're battling together. I don't know. This tag team is just not for me. I will give it to the Iconics because these 2 are so annoying that they would definitely carry those titles pretty well, just as annoying.
Oh
But
God,
I think I can see the fans booing and still have a few cheering, but it would just make, if you want to keep them in this comic style, it would be crazy the reaction if they win because you know they're just gonna overdo it, top the reaction. So I would like to see them win it.
I really hope you're wrong. I do not want to have my ears bleeding for
Brandon?
days on end.
Brandon, I'm going to let you go last on this match.
Okay.
Because I agree with Cedric. I think they need to put the titles on the Iconics.
You guys are gonna make my ears bleed, aren't you?
And the reason I say that they need to put the titles on the Iconics is because the Iconics are a heel team that, while people enjoy, they would still want to see get beaten. Nia and Tamina are a heel team that nobody wants to see. There is a graphic difference. And Beth is a one-off for a WrestleMania payday, so they're not going to put the belts on Beth and Natalya. Put the belts on Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. Give them something to work with. Give them something to establish themselves as credible threats. And then you can just as easily have Bayley and Sasha Banks take the titles back off of them down the road. Assuming that Sasha doesn't turn on Bayley and stab her in the back like she does everybody else. and Corey Graves. Brandon? Iconic!
I just did the pose.
I did the pose too.
You really did the pose. Oh my God.
But did you do Billy's or Peyton's?
I think they're both pretty much the same, but
Yeah.
I think I did.
Um,
I did Peyton's with the fists on the hips.
Oh, okay.
If the main event wasn't winner take all, then I would have gone differently with this pick. But I hate to have to say it. But I have a bad feeling that you two are probably right. And we're going to have our ears bleeding for the next, hopefully just less than a week. Because hopefully then Bayley and Sasha go over to SmackDown and whoop their asses right off the bat.
Family show!
But yeah, unfortunately, I gotta say.
You know what? Just let me say this. As long as the belts don't go to Nia and Tamina, I don't care who wins this match. I genuinely don't. I'm okay with Beth getting a WrestleMania moment because she didn't get a whole lot of them back when she was with the company originally, because the Divas division back then sucked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with Natalya getting the WrestleMania moment as kind of a feel-good moment for her after losing her father last year. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce have been killing it with what they've been given to work with as the Iconics. And the fact that Brandon is so annoyed by them is exactly the kind of reaction that they're looking for them. Bayley and Sasha have enough of a fan base that if you keep the titles on them, I would not be opposed to it. I have absolutely zero interest in rewarding people who have not progressed at all in their time with the company. Nia and Tamina have not progressed at all. If anything, Nia is getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about as nice as I can put it on a family-friendly episode. You suck. All right. Good. SmackDown title is on the line when Daniel Bryan defends against Kofi Kingston. I think this one's pretty blatantly obvious how it's going. Cedric?
So obvious. Daniel Bryan. I'm just joking. Listen, I think the signs that say if so-and-so wins, we'll riot will be so true in this WrestleMania. I think Brandon and I have discussed it before, even though we do Raw, but I think we've discussed the fact that this is Mr. McMahon's moment to get it right. And Seth losing to Brock Lesnar, I can see based on the points that you made, but I think this is the moment for them to get it right, and I think Kofi should win. We've all heard, well, at least I have heard and read in many social media outlets that when they talk about WWE never having a true Black, African American, however you want to say it, champion. And we all know that's not true, but this is the moment for them to finally put that to rest, because even though it's in SmackDown, that title is still the WWE Championship. So he is representing WWE. I know people will say that's not true. It's Raw, the Universal title. This one is still called the WWE Championship.
Well, this is the true WWE Championship.
And what a good feel moment to see this build up with Kofi Kingston winning at the end. So my pick is Kofi.
Technically speaking, the comment about never having a fully black WWE/F champion is accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Booker T was the world heavyweight champion. He was not the WWE heavyweight champion. The Rock is only partially black.
Mm-hmm.
He's also Samoan. Rocky Johnson, High Chief Peter Maivia. African American, Samoan.
Mm-hmm.
And what title did Mark Henry hold?
He just held the world heavyweight title.
Okay. World title in ECW. Okay. There has never been a fully black WWE champion. That is a 100% accurate statement.
But this is the moment.
Yep. Yeah, there is no way, like Cedric said, I mentioned it before, you have 3 big matches in this show. One had to be, Vince isn't gonna give us 3 feel-good moments. One has to go, and the only one that can go is Seth. That's why Brock's gonna retain. But Kofi, there is no way that Kofi does not win here, because it would be pandemonium if he didn't. And same with the next match that we're going to be talking about.
Well, I have good news and I have bad news in regards to this match, gentlemen.
Oh, God, I know what you're going to say. No! No!
The good news is that Kofi gets his moment and the heavyweight title at WrestleMania. The bad news is that Kofi gets Christianed at SmackDown 2 days later and loses said title to Randy Orton.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something different, but...
What did you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say he was then going to get waylaid by Big E.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they use this as the catalyst for the New Day turn, but I don't think it's time yet. And once it does happen, the one I'm worried most about is Xavier, because Big E will be just fine. Big E is a world heavyweight champion in waiting. Kofi Kingston will be just fine. He has all this fan support behind him, and I'm sure that he's going to keep most of it even after the events of WrestleMania. Xavier is the one who gets lost in the shuffle there.
But Xavier has the talking ability to, I think,
And it's possible that Xavier becomes a manager.
True.
But I will say that I give Kofi his moment at WrestleMania, but I do not see him holding the title for any length of time because, technically speaking, what they say about Kofi isn't far from inaccurate. He is a solid hand, but I don't know if he's full-time heavyweight championship material. I like Kofi. He has a very bubbly personality. He is a very likable guy. But he is horrendously inconsistent in the ring. He is an average at best promo most of the time. Granted, these last couple of months, he has been very good on the microphone, and I will give him all the credit in the world for it. But up until this run here, he's been the charismatic member of the New Day. Xavier's done most of the speaking. Kofi just chimes in with, "Pancakes, baby!" without adding a whole lot of substance to the conversations. Back when Kofi was still Jamaican, he didn't talk a whole lot.
Jamaican me crazy.
I will say this much. I pop like a little girl if he comes out to SOS at Mania.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, no.
He won't, but...
Wanna run for days you can't get away. Sorry. I had a moment. I'm very musically inclined, in case you haven't noticed, Cedric.
I'm just waiting for... I can't wait for Balor's entrance at Mania.
That takes us to the main event of WrestleMania, as for the first time in 35 years, the women have the spot. Raw champion Ronda Rousey, SmackDown champion Charlotte Flair, 2019 Women's Royal Rumble winner Becky Lynch. It is one fall, winner take all. Cedric?
I haven't been counting the good feel moments, so I'm not sure if I've already surpassed the limit.
No,
But
we have
Well,
not.
you did say that Seth was winning, so maybe.
Yeah, you have.
well,
We have not.
this is another one of those matches that I just cannot see Becky not winning.
Mm-hmm.
Unless we get an Okada Naito moment where it was so obvious that Naito's gonna win, and oh shoot, there you go, Okada wins.
Oh
Just
God.
to continue the push of heel and hatred. Either Charlotte or Ronda winning would just have that whole place explode, and not for the positive. But I can just see WWE doing something like that. So I really hope they get it right, and Becky has her moment, even if people say that it's so obvious. But knowing that it's WWE, I wouldn't doubt that they throw a curve at you and have one of the other two ladies win. But I think that once they added Charlotte as the SmackDown champion, it kind of makes it too obvious that it's gonna be Becky winning. But I'm going with Becky. But there's a part of me that feels that this is gonna be the one, if not Kofi, this is gonna be the one where the obvious winner is not gonna be so obvious.
Well, I will say this much to that. My thought process to that is that if this match wasn't the main event, I would be more inclined to agree with that. Having announced that this will be the main event of the show, however, I think it makes the decision in this match a little bit more obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon?
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I mean, with the push that they've done with Becky and everything, and with it being, for all the gold, yeah, I don't see any way that you don't give it to Becky at this point.
It has to be Becky.
Yeah.
Like, if this match wasn't the main event, then you could get away with keeping the belt, putting both of the belts on Charlotte and letting Becky chase until SummerSlam. But since this match has been announced as the main event, the first time ever that women are main eventing a show, then to me, it just becomes blatantly obvious that this has to be the moment that they crown Becky Lynch the champion.
Mm-hmm.
I've been wrong before. I could be wrong again.
I mean, we were all wrong last year about last year's main event.
I picked Lesnar to retain, actually.
Oh, okay. See, everyone else was thinking, oh, this is going to be Reigns' coronation, but...
As soon as I heard that Lesnar had resigned, I picked Lesnar to retain.
Fair enough.
I did think he was going to get it in Saudi Arabia, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I've been wrong before. In regards to the WrestleMania weekend, though, regardless of who your rooting interests are, enjoy the show, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, this is the one time a year that deep down we can all just be fans. We can all just enjoy the shows for what they are. I don't want to overanalyze. I don't want to over-speculate. There's a reason I'm not doing the post-WrestleMania review on here, because I want to let my thoughts on the show simmer for at least 24 hours before I actually discuss the show. I have an added advantage of watching with people as well, which gives me the opportunity to take in the atmosphere around a group. I find that having the opportunity to watch around a group of friends and stuff makes it a lot easier to enjoy a show, because the highs seem even higher and the lows don't quite seem as low, because you're able to have different conversations to keep you away from the duller moments of the show. Cedric, would you like to stay around and predict NXT TakeOver with us? You're more than welcome to. If you'd like to, you do not have to.
Yeah, guys, I think I'm gonna call it the wise old owl was really looking more like old and less wise. So again, I've always said this before. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss something that I truly have a passion for, which is wrestling. It's real to me, damn it, and it's always gonna be real to me.
Hopefully, you and Brandon can get together and do the Raw after WrestleMania here on the WWE Network as well.
Oh, that would be great. That would be awesome. Again, guys, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yep.
Have a good
I'll
night,
talk
Cedric.
to you on Monday.
All right, you too. Bye.
It's just me and you, Joker.
Okay. Let's do it.
All right, anyway. So, NXT TakeOver comes from the Barclays Center on, well, technically tomorrow night. We're recording this Thursday for sake of point of reference. Would it be point of viewer? No, that's a different show on here. We don't discuss that on the show. That is definitely not a family show.
No, not by a long shot.
And if you want to listen to another not family show on this network, listen to the kickoff. Anyway.
We're just getting all the plugs now, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll officially plug them a little bit later on in the show, but let's get to NXT TakeOver, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. The opening contest for NXT TakeOver is probably going to be the Dusty Rhodes Classic final as the War Raiders defend the NXT Tag Team titles against the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Classic, Aleister Black and Ricochet. Neither of us had Aleister Black and Ricochet winning the tag team titles once WrestleMania on Sunday. Do either of us have them winning the NXT titles? I'll go first here, and I'm going to say not a chance. Their time with NXT is over. They've basically been pulled from all NXT house shows. There is no reason to keep them on NXT television when there are more than enough good teams in the waiting in the wings in NXT to get an opportunity, i.e. the Forgotten Sons, i.e. the Street Profits, i.e. the reunited Redragon of Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
And Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. Although Lorcan's now in 205, so I don't know how that's working.
Well, NXT tapes on Wednesdays, 205 is on Tuesdays. I don't think it would be a problem.
True.
Because Lorcan and Burch are doing NXT UK as well, too.
That's true. Which I have yet to watch. I still need to watch that.
I think there's an opportunity to get around that. But, so yeah, I think that there's no doubt that the tag team titles here stay on the War Raiders because there are plenty of teams that could eventually come up in the ranks and eventually take their crack at the War Raiders. Aleister Black and Ricochet do not need to be the tag team champions.
Yeah, and it seems like they're going to the main roster full-time following this takeover.
So we agree, War Raiders?
Yep, War Raiders.
All right, we move to the NXT UK Championship match as Pete Dunne puts his 679-day reign on the line when he faces Walter. As a German, I have to pronounce it correctly.
I know. Oh, I agree. Well done.
It is Walter taking on Pete Dunne here, Brandon. Who do you got?
Pete Dunne's had it for long enough. NXT UK needs to get things rolling. Walter takes it.
Yeah, I think with the reason I'm picking Walter here is because of three simple words. International Superstar Shakeup.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
I have every expectation that Pete Dunne leaves NXT UK and moves over to WWE proper. Probably SmackDown.
I can see that.
Raw would not surprise me either, though, because he has had matches on Monday Night Raw. If I'm not mistaken, he beat Enzo Amore when Enzo was the Cruiserweight Champion on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, he did when they were in London, I'm pretty sure.
So either way, Raw or SmackDown, Pete Dunne moves to the main roster because there's nothing else left to do with him over on NXT UK.
Mm-hmm. He's held the title long enough.
And you can make the argument that the same thing could be said about his Mustache Mountain counterparts in Tyler Bate and Trent Seven as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can move them over and freshen up the Raw tag team division too by moving Mustache Mountain into the tag team ranks and having British Strong Style as a trio on the main roster. So yeah, I think Walter wins the belt here.
Yep, agreed.
The NXT Women's title is on the line in a fatal four-way as champion Shayna Baszler defends against Kairi Sane, Io Shirai, and Bianca Belair.
This is a tough one because on one hand, I think, I don't know if Shayna's fully ready to be called up, so I would think she may retain. But at the same time, I think it's time for, either Bianca or Io to get the title to start this new generation. I'll go with Io, I think.
I have a bold prediction.
Okay.
And my prediction's not so much bold in the who, it's the how.
Okay.
Io pins Kairi.
The only reason, and well, I mean, this kind of plays into our predictions from earlier for Mania. Unfortunately, I think you may be right, because it seems like, especially if the Iconics win the tag titles at Mania, that they're not going to hold true to what Bayley and Sasha said. I think NXT is going to be the odd brand out when it comes to the tag titles.
Or they send teams from NXT up to the main roster in order to get their opportunities at the belts rather than it being defended on NXT television.
That could be true.
One-offs with an opportunity to make your statement. Because there aren't enough good teams, or there aren't enough good women's teams in NXT in order to have the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions down there on a regular basis.
I mean,
the only two teams in NXT, if you don't count the Sky Pirates, are Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir, and Aaliyah and Vanessa Bourne, and neither one of those teams is ready for a run with the tag team titles, or arguably a match with the champions.
I'll agree with that.
The North American title is on the line as the Velveteen Dream Experience defends against Matt Riddle. Brandon?
This is a tough one, because I feel like this could be Riddle's time to, get a title and really continue his rise. But at the same time, I feel like Velveteen hasn't had the title long enough. I'm gonna say Velveteen retains, but not completely clean. And it'll lead to them continuing this feud to, what would it be? TakeOver. I don't know where the next one would be during Money in the Bank, but
technically it wouldn't be Money in the Bank, because Money in the Bank is in May this year.
Oh, okay. Then whenever the next TakeOver would be,
June, I believe, as a standalone is what I read.
Oh, okay. Then do it, have them continue the feud until June, and then have Riddle win it then.
I'm going to say that Matt Riddle wins the North American title here, and the reason I picked Matt Riddle is because of my main event prediction.
Okay.
Speaking of which, the main event is 2 out of 3 falls for the NXT Heavyweight Championship, as Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole fight for the vacant title last held by the now injured Tommaso Ciampa. Brandon?
I think if Ciampa hadn't gotten injured, this would have been Gargano's moment. I think they still keep to that, even though it's not against Ciampa. Gargano wins the title finally.
Question for you, Brandon.
Okay.
Who did Velveteen Dream beat to win the North American title?
Johnny Gargano.
And let's say he loses the North American title. Who would he then want to challenge for the NXT Heavyweight title?
Okay, I see where you're going with that. Yep.
I think Gargano wins the 2 out of 3 falls match, and it sets up Velveteen Dream and Johnny Gargano for the NXT title on the basis of the fact that Velveteen can say, I already beat you once for the secondary title. Now I'm going to beat you again for the heavyweight title.
I could see that.
So Riddle takes the North American title and faces Roderick Strong, probably. Because I don't think Adam Cole is just going to fade out of the main event picture.
No.
But Gargano and Velveteen seems to be the obvious place to go for the NXT heavyweight title, especially if Gargano is going to be sticking around NXT a little bit longer with Tommaso Ciampa being written off with the injury.
Yeah. It probably won't happen, but I would love to see at some point all 4 Undisputed Era guys having titles.
Well, I hear that Evolution is a mystery. I'm just saying.
Yes.
All right, so you mentioned that there were a couple of other things that you wanted to discuss for WrestleMania weekend, one of which was the G1 Supercard.
Yeah,
I'm going to be entirely honest with you. I don't have a whole lot of familiarity in this
on this prospect, on this endeavor. Therefore, the floor is yours, Brandon.
Yeah, so this year, kind of ironically, because you would have thought that WWE, because they would have been pissed that, their home base is being invaded, would have had TakeOver on the same night to try to, nullify that crowd. But this year, if you're a wrestling fan and you have nothing to do on Saturday night, because who really wants to watch old men talk their heads off for 2 hours?
It's adorable that you think it's only going to be 2 hours.
No, I was saying just for one speech, it's going to be 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then watch the G1 Supercard at MSG, and it's actually going to be broadcast on all of the streaming services. So, like, if you have Honor Club or New Japan World, you get it for free.
I'm gonna check.
What?
I was gonna say I'm gonna take a quick opportunity to give a shout out to the guys at Incredibly Strange, Interspecies Wrestling, also known as Incredibly Strange Wrestling, depending on where you go for them. They had a show tonight called Boner Jam 4, Balls Out.
Oh, God.
I'm being told that I'm not allowed to say Balls Mahoney, however. And despite the production of the show being less than desirable, a lot of quick cuts with the camera and stuff, the kind of stuff that makes you dizzy during a WWE show, the guys and the girls on the show went out and busted their asses for everybody, and it's definitely an enjoyable way to spend 2.5 hours on a wrestling show. So I highly recommend Interspecies, Incredibly Strange, ISW, whichever acronym you want to go for them, with their Boner Jam 4 WrestleMania weekend show as well, if you guys get the chance to watch it.
But yeah, so lots of good matches on this card. Will Ospreay against Jeff Cobb for both the Never Openweight title and the RH World title, or World TV title, excuse me.
That's going to a no contest.
Yeah. Well, what's weird is that there's a lot of co-branded title for title matches on this card, because you also have a fatal four-way tag match for the IWGP it's a fatal four-way tag match for both the IWGP tag team and ROH tag team titles. So that's going to be between Guerrillas of Destiny, Villain Enterprises, LIJ, and the Briscoes. Then you've got Taiji Ishimori versus Dragon Lee versus Bandito in a triple threat for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. Bully Ray versus Juice Robinson in a New York Street fight, which should be a fun match. Rush versus Dalton Castle. And then Zack Sabre Jr. versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the British Heavyweight title. Naito versus Ibushi for the IWGP Intercontinental title. And then the two main events, a triple threat ladder match for the ROH title between Jay Lethal, Marty Scurll, and Matt Taven. And then Jay White versus Kazuchika Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight title.
How you feeling over there, Brandon?
Not very good.
It's been a lot of talking these last 2 days, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's not exactly the greatest for my voice right now.
Well, the good news is that you'll be able to rest up at least for tomorrow and Saturday. Well, maybe tomorrow, maybe not. I don't know if you and Cedric have an NXT takeover review planned or not.
Probably not, since he's kind of behind anyway.
I wouldn't recommend it with the state of your voice either. You know who I would talk to about doing one, though?
Who?
I would talk to Paul Leeser.
Okay.
Or maybe Gary Vaughn, depending. Whichever. Take your pick.
Fair enough.
Maybe one of the original...
What?
Maybe one of the original Wrestling to the Max guys would want to do the review with you. I am with Christine all weekend, therefore I am unavailable for reviews.
I probably will just take the weekend off and do a review. We'll do a review during the Raw and SmackDown reviews of Mania.
Very well. All right, so that's going to officially wrap it up for us. That's all, folks. I just Porky Pigged myself.
Yep.
Let's try that statement again from the top. That's going to about do it for us here on the W2M network. Where else can people hear us, Brandon?
They can hear us on the kickoff coming back soon for the draft. They can hear you and I for SmackDown.
April 24th.
Yep.
For those wondering. It is April 24th for our draft preview, May 1st for our draft review. Continue.
They can hear you and I together for SmackDown and hear myself and Cedric for Raw.
And eventually, maybe, possibly.
Yes, I need to start getting onto that.
Turning into a unicorn like the fantasy football show did. I sympathize with Jason Teasley. Eventually, the war will be won. Apparently, procrastination is currently in the lead. Bisco.
Yes. I've been trying to catch up on other things right now.
It's Mania weekend, so I'll cut you some slack.
Yeah, I've been trying to get through because I completely didn't watch any of the New Japan Cup, so I've been trying to catch up on it in preparation for Saturday.
Well, you have fun with that. I'm going to watch Shikara tomorrow because that's what I do. I watch Shikara. They have a live WrestleMania show at noon tomorrow on independentwrestling.tv. So I have a free trial right now, so I figure why not? I'll watch Shikara. Eventually, it would come to Shikaratopia, and I can watch it there. But if I can watch it live, why not? You know?
That's what I like about the how they're putting the G1 Supercard on New Japan World live. So this time I can actually watch it live without doing any free trial of Sling or anything like that.
Well, I mean, wouldn't it have been on Fight TV if it wasn't on?
Yeah, but you'd have to pay.
Japan?
You'd have to
Yeah, Fight TV gets expensive for shows, man. Like they did
What?
Yeah, exactly. Freaking adorable. That's not happening in 2019.
I didn't even hear what you said.
I said Fight TV did All In last year, and they wanted $55 for All In.
Well, they had and it was weird. I don't get why anyone would do this, especially with New Japan World. They had they had Wrestle Kingdom on there for $35, I think.
Maybe there are certain places that get Fight TV that don't get New Japan World. I think it's not. I think New Japan World actually isn't available in Canada.
That's weird.
Yeah, well, for the longest time, Netflix and Hulu weren't available up in Canada either.
Wow, that's okay.
I know, right? Weird to think about, but factually accurate statement.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as he mentioned, Raw and SmackDown reviews next week, hopefully. They'll do the Raw After Mania. Brandon and I will have the SmackDown After Mania. You can listen to my thoughts on the Raw After Mania, as well as my thoughts for WrestleMania itself, by checking out the Raw reaction over on the Chairshot Radio Network, online at thechairshot.com. Myself, 411 Mania's Tony Acero, and the Chairshot's Andrew Balaz bring you the Raw reaction every Monday night at 11:30 p.m. live after Monday Night Raw. You have the reviews that I've been working on still making their way. United We Stand was tonight for Impact Wrestling, and I actually do plan on reviewing that for thechairshot.com. In addition, I will be covering Homecoming a little bit later this month to get everybody prepared for Rebellion, the Impact Wrestling pay-per-view for the month of April. And then next month, I will be covering All In for the Chairshot to get everybody ready for Double or Nothing. And you can check out all those articles and me covering Progress over at thechairshot.com as well. Here on the W2M network, it is the kickoff. Recently, it was the tip-off. Next week, it's the draft preview. Or not next week. Later this month, it's the draft preview. April 24th, as I mentioned. For the since-departed Cedric Colon, and old Joker himself, Brandon Biskobing. I'm Harry Broadhurst, thanking you for listening to the Wrestling to the Max WrestleMania Preview Predictions Spectacular here on the W2M Network, online at W2Mnet.com, and available on all of your favorite podcast listening devices, such as iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Stitcher, Podbean, CastBox. Hey, Brandon, guess what?
Spotify is here.
And you really need to watch those pay-per-views.
I know.
Thanks for listening, everybody. For SmackDown. Have a good night.